My name is Sandra Doorley. I'm the district attorney of Monroe County, and I'd like to inform Chris Chichester of 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York, that I have received your Freedom of Information Law document demand, Chris, and I'm holding it here in my hand, and I'm going to read it to you. Quote, the documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the female prosecutor from the Monroe County District Attorney's Office? Chris, my female prosecutor stood in Penfield Town Court and didn't talk. Not one word, not one sound, not one syllable as your rights are abridged. And even though I'm in receipt of this Freedom of Information Law that is from you demanding from me the name of this female prosecutor who stands in Penfield Town Court, you're not getting this information from me. Even though this is a case in a public proceeding. I'm not going to tell you her name. Because you're not entitled to her name, Chris, as your rights were abridged in Penfield Town Court before the 70-year-old pedophile protection act of Daniel Glaus III, because he knows Daniel Glaus II, that is called John P. Lomenzo Jr. So, and Chris, I'm also in receipt of your Freedom of Information Law dated February 11th. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. And you're not getting this information either. So you can send this to me 50 times, and I'm going to refuse 50 times. So you can send this to me 100 times, and I'm going to refuse 100 times. And I'm also in receipt of your Freedom of Information Law. The cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits, failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And you can send this to me 50 times, and I'm going to refuse 50 times. And you can send this to me 100 times, and I will refuse 100 times. Even though the 1964 Civil Rights Act is the most important legislation of the 20th century. I'm going to refuse. So, now, Chris, have you seen my employee, the Boston Strangler, Albert DeSalvo? Because you're demanding to know the salaries for everyone at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. And my employee, the Boston Strangler, Albert DeSalvo, has a nighttime gig. So I was just wondering, have you seen him? And I'd also like to know if you've seen my employee, Lily von Stupp, and her original language of German, which is my original language. So now, also, Chris, have you seen Sheriff Baxter? Because I need to talk to him about cases in the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, because he's preoccupied addressing his employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I mean, you can see him right here in front of the microphone. But I need to talk to him, Chris. So do you know where he is? Just let me know. And Chris, I am in receipt, since you're sending me a Freedom of Information Law registered mail return receipt of your Freedom of Information Law documents demanding the salaries for every public employee at the District Attorney's Office. And yeah, you can see there's a Maya Mastro Donato signed. And right there, Maya Mastro Donato signed. It's July 11th. Maya Mastro Donato, my employee, signed on July 11th. So there's D. Harrington signed. There's no date, though. And again, D. Harrington signed. There's no date, though. And D. Harrington signed again. There's no date, though. D. Harrington signed again. So there you are, repeatedly demanding, Chris, a list of salaries of everybody at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. And I just want to tell you, Chris, go fuck yourself, because you're not getting those salaries. Even though every single employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office is paid by taxpayer dollars. And Chris, I need to prepare for another interview about Craig Rideout, because Craig Rideout was killed by Laura Rideout, and I need to go on television to talk about that despicable, disgusting crime, even though Craig Rideout is dead and Laura Rideout is jail. I want to go on television like I'm a pathetic Suzanne Stone mutation from To Die For and talk about murder, because I love to talk about murder. I love to be on television talking about murder, because what television requires is more prosecutors talking about murder, because there are 15, 20 shows a night that descend into the celebration of degeneracy and murder. And I want to be on television talking about murder because I love to talk about murder. So, now, Chris, I have here in my hand these two concoctions from Sheriff Baxter. And I know that you have never committed a crime, that you're an innocent man. And you go to the gym at PW Fitness, you're back in the gym psychopath Jermaine Benman comes up to you, goes like this, tells you to get off the machine. You tell him, I'll be 30 seconds. Benman stands over him. He punches down like this. And I know, Chris, that you wanted to kick the shit out of Jermaine Benman and jump on top of him, pounce on his bald head. And that would have prevented what's going to happen to you. Because you go outside after Deputy Andrew Reale arrives. Andrew Reale tells you, Chris, to wait in the backseat of the vehicle as he's talking to Jermaine Benman. He walks Jermaine Benman around to the side of the vehicle. And Jermaine Benman says to you, Chris, I want to press charges against you. And you, Chris, are charged with harassment second, sitting in the back seat of a Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle. So, Chris, how did you like being charged with harassment second, sitting in the back seat of a Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle? Did you like that a lot? Did you enjoy that, Chris? Now, Chris, here's another concoction, criminal contempt from Sheriff Baxter. This is criminal contempt here. You're going to go outside because Sheriff Todd Baxter is going to set you up. Here comes the toothless grass-cutting loser on land that has no ownership. You come over here. You're outside for 30 seconds, Chris. You stand here. You say, don't own that land. You go back into your house now. Chris, I know this is not a crime. I know for you, Chris, to go outside, stand right here, say they don't own that land, and walk back in your house is not a crime, and I don't care that it's not a crime. And I also don't care that these parasites, Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah, don't own this land. Used to walk your dog on, because that's the documentation they sent you. And this is fiction. That's not a document. And Chris, here's the accusatory instrument here, and this is a laughable concoction that the defendant did remain unlawfully enter upon the premises of 2041 Penfield Road, Penfield by walking through the parking lot after being told by certified mail by police that he's not allowed on the property. Because after the fireworks at Harrison Wayland Park, Penfield High School band students were walking through the parking lot every day, just like people walk through that parking lot every single day, including your neighbors, Chris. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter that this is a descent on your life. It doesn't matter to me, Chris, that your civil and constitutional rights have been abridged. And Chris, you can continue to send me a Freedom of Information Law document that demands the name of the female prosecutor. It didn't talk. It says, what is the name of the female prosecutor? What is the name of the female prosecutor? I don't care, Chris, that you're demanding this information. The other thing I don't care about, Chris, is you didn't hear Miranda. You didn't hear your rights as required by the 1966 Supreme Court decision, Miranda versus Arizona. And Sheriff Todd Baxter and his degenerates and fanatics have descended on you twice. And you hear Miranda either time. I don't care about that. It does not matter to me. And I don't care about that, Chris, because I have to go down to New York City and meet my boyfriend, Dan Gallagher. And I love a meeting with my boyfriend, Dan Gallagher. And I'm going to bring my pet bunny rabbit with me when I go see my boyfriend, Dan Gallagher. But first, before I go see him, I have to put my nightgown on and vacuum the carpet like a whack job. So that's what I do first before I go see my boyfriend, Dan Gallagher. You know, I'm really worried that he's not going to see me and I'm going to be outside, crying in the rain like that. So now, Chris, we work on cases at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and one of our assistant district attorneys, he works alongside Perry Duckles. This is Assistant District Attorney Lee Harvey Oswald, and we have a continuing problem with him. Chris, perhaps you can help us out at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, because you love to read books, and for some reason, he wants to be at the Texas School Book Depository on the 6th floor. So perhaps you, Chris, can talk to Assistant District Attorney Lee Harvey Oswald and tell him not to be on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository with an Italian Carcano rifle, because that could be bad for us at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And Chris, you ride your bike down Penfield Road and you saw a sign here, re-elect Sandra Doorley. And you stopped your bike as an innocent man who's riding through a bridge, and you stood looking at the sign, and you took your phone and took a picture of it, re-elect Sandra Doorley, and you had to prevent yourself from becoming physically ill when you took this picture. So, and Chris, as we're at Jonestown at 47 South Fitzhugh Street, here's our inspiration right here, Jim Jones, and we like to drink this product here on the job. Perhaps you've heard of Kool-Aid. We have all sorts of flavors, all different flavors at the Monroe County District Office. There's a grape and cherry and vanilla, and I especially like the vanilla. So now, Chris, you can continue to send us a Freedom of Information Law document that demands the name of my employee in the district attorney's office that stands in Penfield Town Court and doesn't talk, because I'm not going to comply. I don't have to comply with the laws of the district attorney of Monroe County. Do you understand me, Chris Chichester? Do you get with the program, Chris? The law is a joke to me. So I don't care how many times you demand this woman's name. You're not getting her name. I know you sent this to me repeatedly. I'm going to read it to you again, Chris. The documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the female prosecutor from the Monroe County District Attorney's Office? I don't care, Chris. It does not matter to me that you sent this Freedom of Information Law document to me. I'm not complying at all. Does not matter to me. So, now, Chris, you're also demanding information from Michael Rather, who's a Monroe County Sheriff employee for 20 years, and then he retired, and then he was rehired by Sheriff Baxter as an assistant or a special assistant. So Monroe County Sheriff employee Michael Rather was on the job, and then he retired, and he's rehired, and then he has 2 paychecks. So, Chris, I know that you're going to send a documentation to me demanding the salaries of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office over and over and over and over. And I'm going to refuse every time. And I know, Chris, you're going to start to come to my events, despite the fact that you have sent me this registered now return receipt, because I'm not complying with the law, because the law is a joke to me.